Hello everyone, it's the next day. Remember how I said Maynard sends things in bursts? Here's the burst part. Two merchants, within hours of each other, show up. We're still working on the hospital. We literally got a bunch of bronze. Now, the reason why you use bronze, in a low-tech or early game playthrough, if you start as tribal, the vanilla expanded bronze flooring works as a semi-sterile tile. It's not as good as sterile tiles, but it's better than any other tile for just keeping the hospital clean and therefore lacking of infections. Not to mention, it looks nice and it makes it easy to figure out where the hospital is because you just look for the bronze tiling. That's also where the kitchen is, but we'll talk about that later. I realize now that I'm the one spending the most time in the room with Final Sight. We're gonna make him a crossbow. Everyone's like, he's an elf, he should have a longbow. No. We are dwarves. He has chosen to live with us. Dwarves make crossbows and guns. We do not, and I need to emphasize this, we do not make longbows. We're dwarves. So Adagio is making him a double crossbow. And Lori is working on lamellar armor. Immediately, someone else wants me to diplomatically marry Final Sight off. He just asked me out. And I said yes. I'm kidding. I didn't say yes. I said no. But now I got nothing but elf twink on my mind. I decided to build a massive hearth in the kitchen because it'll keep the kitchen warm and the animals warm by being against that wall. Yeah, RimWorld has some pretty sophisticated temperature mechanics. You may notice the giant passive coolers inside of our freezer, keeping it cold. And we are making our first batches of beer. And we're out of beer, by the way.
Oh, sorry, I forgot we're out of beer.
With the runecaster, i.e. the dwarf sorcerers, having a genetic dependence on beer, and every other dwarf having a absolute demand for beer. We're out of beer. Just gotta get, gotta get them temple walls put down. It's a temporary measure just to have a temple to the god of the forge. And we're going to use whatever random material we have on hand. Final Sight's up and working. Getting along with Stargazer. Surprisingly, the elf gets along with the dwarves. I also decide that we're going to have proper beds in this hospital now. Instead of just, random bedrolls that we had on hand. We're only going to have about 5. But 5 is a greater number than 0. And therefore, better than 0. I will have to increase the size of this hospital or get us a bigger one. And therefore, already I am continuing to plan the great move. Understand that kind of foreshadowing is not me joking. There's going to be a giant move. Yeah, so Final Sight now has a double barrel crossbow. And we're making a kettle helmet because look, it might not be the best thing, but it's what we got. Final Sight is temporarily also now going to be housed in the forge. So we can carve him out a bedroom. It is what it is. I'm sorry it is what it is, but we gotta house you there until we can carve you out a place to live. But he's being a real trooper about it. I'm not even, mad or upset. He's being a trooper. trying to look at the materials I have on hand to figure out exactly how to build this this temple of ours. This little temple of ours. It's got to be set up. It's just got to be done. This is part of like playing RimWorld. Is you're doing a lot of planning and preparation. I'm constantly coming to check in the forge to see what Lori's working on, how good the armor she's making is turning out. It's iron lamellar is what we've been churning out. It's not bad. On its own, it's not bad. It's not amazing on its own, but it's a good place to start. We gotta get our Christmas tree up for the end of the year. Check my ideology to see if there's anything else I need to put in that room. And then a Galatros wanders in.
Roll 'em up.
Throughout every world, blow the fate of all. Creature with untold might, an immeasurable height, strength that machines can't copy, power so-called gods called heresy. Beware, beware, would-be foes, beware the wrath of the Galatros. It is the scariest, most destructive creature in all of the game, including alpha animals and alpha biomes. It's actually from alpha animals. It's a herbivore. With an armor penetration that can punch through tanks. And body armor that makes mechanoids jealous. I wish that were a joke. Yeah, no, we're not ready to fight that. And I don't want to dare try to tame it. Because its food consumption is probably insane, and we don't have the food yet. And then a battle occurs between impids and elves. Now, at the start of the battle, the impids run right into a bunch of murder hornets, and the elves take advantage and ambush a couple of them. And the impids, having blown their fire breath on the murder hornets, aren't really in a position. And then the impids start revealing they have psychic powers on their side and are throwing explosives around. I mean, how would you feel about being a 2,000-year-old elf? They also have a couple of handguns from the ancient times. You're some 2,000-year-old elf and a crazy fucking tribal person runs up to you and throws a high explosive device onto your chest. Yeah, the elves lost this one. Between the enemy psychers and ancient weapons, the elves, the knife ears were not prepared. That man has a 45. He's here to kill the soul. As they, yeah. It's a nice feature from dynamic diplomacy to be able to see the battles actually play out when different places get conquered, and to see them also get razed and destroyed. There's a monster encounter. We're not able to go do it yet. We will be sending out raids soon. Our own raids to capture resources or look for ancient items, things we need. And we catch a moment in the kitchen in front of our new giant fuck-off-a-stand fireplace of Adagio and Candle Draw having some tenderness. It's a nice day. The question I have, though, is will the beer be ready in time? That's an actual question. We have a genetic dependency on alcohol. Without it, we will slowly begin to take debuffs until we collapse into a coma. You know, of death. Frostrite is also like the most powerful thing in the ice tree. It just takes some understanding for how it works. But it is the most powerful spell.
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
And now you're gonna see a lot of sped up footage because, oh dear God, I spent 9 hours recording this little 30-minute segment for you guys of me just trying to set up outfits, getting the temple built, getting basic things put down, trying my best to make sure everybody's needs were satisfied. It is a labor of love and endurance to get all this done. We're harvesting some crops, our first cotton actually, so we'll have some cloth lying around. And I give Solar Aura a giant fuck off a stand two-handed mace. It's made out of iron. And it's not that those crappy Ungaki weapons we had last episode. I have Lori come in and enhance using her powers. I have to sit here and get all of the stats set up for the animals, make sure they're on the right masters. If you're curious, each of the stats actually do provide improvements. Strength provides carry weight, Dex provides work speed, agility provides movement speed. These are just the bare basics I'm mentioning, by the way. Constitution should be obvious. Endurance, rate of immunity gain. Intelligence is research speed and magical power gain speed. And charisma is how well that you get along with everybody else. I named the squirrel Hammy. And if you don't get that reference, I'm sorry, I'm old. Hammy was the best squirrel. And you cannot prove me wrong. When we start to suffer alcohol deficiency, just as our first batch of alcohol comes in, and we get access to advanced agriculture.
Oh, my cabbages!
That's the whole purpose. Now I come in here and start researching thermobath, and I didn't mean to actually research that. I meant to research temperature control. Someone wants to make a royal visit of our place. You can't be serious, right? Man, you look like the reject from prom night whose date dumped him on the side of the road when he grabbed her thigh. Anyway, I'm gonna safely ignore you and fix my bed. We have an orb for pondering, a calligraphy table for recording the events of this room, and then the summit crab shows up. This creature is huge. And more importantly, it will just bash its way through stone, rock, walls. It doesn't care. And it will go through the exact center of the map. Our base is in the exact center of the map. Now, normally, it would be impenetrable to most attacks. But we have magical ones. And all that extra armor didn't do him much good to being set on fire from the inside. Or to Thor's wrath. And now that I know it's down and it's not getting back up, blood spurting out everywhere, I have Solar do the ultimate killer crab, and we freeze the fucker alive. And Solar, that's your kill. It's dead. And I kind of have, I've never actually, cut one of these up, butchered them. So I don't know what happens when you butcher them. We gonna find out. And here we go, Stargazer. Cut that fucker up. I want to see what I want to see what kind of leather that fucker dropped. What the fuck? A mountain fell off its back. A mountain was on its back. It makes sense. It apparently drops 4 of each stone chunk type from the base game. Neat. We have a slime. I'm gonna probably put it back out to the wild. But you can see a bunch of the creatures' names. Someone suggested I name a rock's sting. So that's going to be happening later when we have baby rocks. You can see Mimi has a baby rocks on the way. And this is just part of the basic maintenance of things, is figuring out what animals should be allowed in what areas to kind of control the filth generation. An enemy caravan is now attempting to slip by us. They are much better armored and armed than we are. But they're also horrible fucking people! You can see 4 of us are scrambling out. We're hoping to catch the main part of the caravan, but that's not going to happen. As much as it took them a while to get around the edge of the map, it took us a long time to get the fuck out here. We need to... This teaches me we need a back door. Or in this case, we need a main gate. We do manage to down a couple of them. And I send Candle Draw into murder. Oh god. She's far too good at this.
Murder! 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 Murder!
Mine. No! Not fair. We're not gonna wear their armor, because it's Ungak. It's Ungak. Bad armor. But we are gonna strip them so that we can use that armor for melting down and getting various resources that we need. And this is just part of it. You gotta set up a place to store the stuff and set up the furnaces to tell them to melt it down. And Adagio being the big smith here. And then I notice, I know you're not a dwarf, Lilith, and you wouldn't understand this. That armor is Ungak. It is shit. It is crap. Take it off. There's a runic longsword lying next to this person. I don't know where they got it. They're an Imperial who was caught in an ambush, but I'm just gonna take the longsword and be happy. If you're happy and you know it, enjoy it. The Godless Shadow. And for the acquisition of the Godless Shadow, you should hit the like button. I know this episode isn't the most exciting, but we're here to tell a story. The story has to have boring parts. Hit the like button. There's a preview at the end of the video for the exciting parts that are coming up next time. It's not an Ungak weapon, that's for sure. So remember when I said I'm going to dig us a back door? Yeah, we're going to dig us a back door. And we're going to dig Final Sight a place to sleep. He's slept in the forge for a solid season. There's 4 seasons in RimWorld. Each of them are 15 days. He's been in there an entire season. He's been a real trooper about it. We should get him his own bedroom. Just taking some measurements. Remember kids, measure twice, cut once. But we should also probably get the back door, built so that it's actually sealed. That'd be great, with all the raids we get. Like a royal tribute trader showing up and getting ambushed by dark elves. That was the thing. I couldn't even get the recording on it quick enough before it was already over. That's where the sword came from. Some royal tribute trader who brought his fancy smancy sword out to Dwarf nowhere. Von Holtz's rebuilt kitchen said, I'm gonna murder you. And it did! Ooh. Spicy. What? I like chili peppers. Don't judge me. But Lori does get our back door, plugged up. Back door plug. Every one of you laughed at that. I know you did because you're all 3. what you're seeing that makes it look like there's no gate there is actually the doormat blueprint laid out right now that hasn't been built yet. But we do have our back door covered. And Adagio is over on the left-hand side of the screen melting stuff down. I'm just zooming in and making sure that, you know, we have this shit sealed up. So I don't have to deal with, oh god, oh god, oh god, the raid is coming and we don't have the doors on. I didn't realize dwarves actually sang while they worked, but okay, Laurie. That's a thing apparently. And it's just a slow march of progress. Time passes. More stuff gets built. It's how it works. Yenna. Fear the mighty Yenna. I'm trying to figure out what exploded over there, because we... Like, what detonated? I don't know. But God is angry. Now what I'm doing here is I'm laying out a unique zone for the stone chunks. Stone chunks create difficult terrain to move over. By laying them in such a way that they prevent access to our walls, you force people to either go around them or through them and be slowed down. And every little bit you can slow enemies down helps. Further, enemies generally won't stand on stone chunks unless there's no other choice, so I'm forcing them to target the gates instead of the walls. And yes, we're gonna double gate the main door. For now, the main door is nothing glorious. It is nothing fantastical or amazing. It is simply the door. Later it will be. It will be one day. And chopping wood is essential because for some reason I can't change the fuel type on those damn fucking cooking pots. They insist that we must cook things over wood. I guess, you know, all dwarven cooking has that mesquite flavor to it. Can't argue with that. Checking the last few items we have out there that need to be smelted down for materials. Because let's face it, this is where we're going to get most of our steel. Gonna have a binge party. We got the booze hall back in. Everybody, we gonna binge. Hammy's already in there. Already in the grand hall waiting for his squirrel beer. Yes, we give the squirrel beer. Wouldn't you give the squirrel beer? Calms him down. Makes him easier to deal with. I like these lanterns and lampposts. They look really nice. They have a very dwarven feel in a medieval playthrough too. Like they really do. And the fact that you don't have to constantly refuel them makes them infinitely more useful than any other light source. They just cost metal. That's the drawback. You have to use metal on them. We got our small little temple built finally. It's the end of summer. We're going into the fall. The growing season, for growing crops ends in like 5 days. I hope we have enough food. And you're like, that looks like a lot of food. I'm like, yeah, it is. But we need enough food for us and our animals. Let me tell you, Bartholomew there. Bartholomew can fucking eat. You just saw 12 fucking bread rolls the fuck appear because he saw them on the shelf. Bartholomew can fucking eat. I named him Bartholomew because of Jasper, by the way. And then there's another battle that's not ours. Someone else's. And again, they run into those pesky fucking murder hornets again. It is a battle between the Central Roman Republic and a bunch of tribal Neanderthals. But the tribal Neanderthals have magic. A lot of it. And also have some guns. And as you can see, the Romans aren't doing well. In the face of lightning bolts, fire, and necromancy. Oh, and the guy with who brought a shoulder cannon. Literally, it's just a 5-pound cannon mounted on your shoulder that fires grape shot. He's in the upper right corner. His name is Bison. It's called a hand cannon. Yeah. Yeah. The Neanderthals of the Ugg Smash Nation are Ugg smashing. And definitely gonna win this one as the Republic soldiers falter and finally crumble, retreating and running for their lives. With one person back over there, they brought their own mages. It wasn't completely unfair. But the House of Olympus tonight mourns a great defeat. And there's just one person who's just been holding out. Her name is Caesar. She held out that entire time and was only laid low by a pistol shot to the head. 45 kills the soul. I'm sorry. I don't know where the Neanderthals got a 45. But for us, this news comes from the other side of the goddamn planet. It means very little to us. But while I was watching that fight, Stargazer got ambushed by some dark elves, much like the trade guy who died and I took his sword. So it's a scramble to get out here. Candle Draw is on full magical flash speed. Stargazer is down on the ground, and Candle Draw is not having it. She cuts that elf's head fucking clean off. I don't have any I haven't started equipping people to carry medicine yet, so we have no medicine. Stargazer's equipment's all over the ground. And we're rushing him to our hospital. Back door's not ready to be used yet. This actually happened before we were building that back door. This is one of the reasons we built the back door. He's bleeding to death. Half an hour until he bleeds completely out. We're inside the castle gates. Running through the freezer. Don't care that we're leaving a trail of blood on the doormats, on the floor. Just get him there. And we gotta stabilize him. Candle Draw's working on it, and Stargazer dies. However, if you've been here for a couple of episodes, you know we got a rebirth potion from one of the quests we did. That means that potion is going to be put to immediate use. I can't ever promise we'll have another one of these rebirth potions. I can't ever promise we'll be able to resurrect another dwarf. But this one time, death says no. He'll be incapacitated for 2 days. His gear is shredded. We'll have to make him a new coat. But he will live. And that means that Lilith's love for Stargazer doesn't get to die yet. You'll need to stay tuned to find out if this love story is a tragedy and a tale of woe, or if Stargazer's rebirth and resurrection is a tale of triumph over adversity. But that's it for today. I want to thank everyone for still being here for this series. I want to thank you all for just being nice to me. And I hope you're enjoying it so far. Tune in next time. Candle draw, be quick. That man's got a gun. He's got a gun. Ready, form up. Form up. Let's get ready. Oh God, he's got a gun. Vinyl sight down. Get him to the hospital. What do you mean caravan raid and a goblin raid on my base at the same time? But all of that is for next time. I would like to especially thank today Solar Aura, Stormy Skies, Bale Watt, The Wingman, Shadowman 1725, and Aisha's Odd Obsession. You'll have to wait till next time to find all that stuff. Make sure you hit the like button and leave comments with names you want to see on creatures or people. Also, subathon. It's subathon on Twitch. Come over to Twitch. I know this is last second, but seriously. Twitch. I'm alive right now.